Who doesn't love a sketchy ladder into an even sketchier attic? We just got another half a foot of snow and it's March 11th. This whole shed is just held up by bird crap. The wellhead comes up into a building. I've never seen that in my life. I actually don't know what was going on before we got here. Maybe that's why the skulls are here, because they died because they didn't have enough grass. There's holes in the walls, holes in the soffit. Yeah, we'll have to make this like several times larger eventually. So what do you actually get when you buy 10 acres of abandoned farmland in central British Columbia? Well, I'm trying to answer that question myself because we bought some 3 months ago, but there's been snow all over it that entire time, so I haven't really seen the land. Nevertheless, I'm going to take you guys on a tour of the land and show you what we bought. Here I am in the back porch of the main house. This is just an open but covered 800 square foot deck where I've been keeping all my reno supplies because the renovation just ended and I haven't really cleaned up because I keep thinking, oh, the snow will melt and then I'll clean everything up when I can see everything, but it hasn't melted. We just got another half a foot of snow. Probably not going to do a tour of the main house because I figure we should have a space that doesn't go on social media and just where we can relax. That's not what this channel is about anyway. The channel is more about the land and the outbuildings and fixing our own things and that sort of stuff. So the first building we've got off the house is a dual use building, which is a firewood shed slash chicken coop. So obviously this side's the firewood shed, and then on the back side, out the fence area is the chicken coop. This is super convenient because we got the wood shed in the house right in the back here. You don't really need to go outside to get firewood. You just walk the covered porch, a couple feet outside into the wood shed, grab your wood and back in. So even if it's like minus 30 out, it's not a big deal. It's been super convenient, and when we got the house, it came loaded up with wood. So we just took the wood that they left and ran it all winter. I actually lied to you guys when I said this was a dual use building. It's actually a triple use building. The firewood shed is just to my left here. The chicken coop side of it is just behind me. And then this space looks like it was a workshop of some kind. It's got shelves. It's got a desk with a vise on it. I have no idea what they're doing in here. There's also our well in here. I have no idea why the wellhead comes up into a building. I've never seen that in my life. Because if you wanted to replace the well pump, you'd have to take the roof off of this building. So not the best design, but whatever. We can work with it in the future if the time comes. I'm just going to leave myself out of focus so you can see what I'm looking at. But this is the back side of that building I was talking about. So this is a chicken coop side of this triple use building, and this whole fenced area they can just run around in. Hopefully it's big enough because we've got 45 chickens coming in a few months. Realistically, I will have to make this like several times larger eventually, but it's good enough for now. So when I say this property is 55 years old and hasn't been maintained at all, I mean it. And this shed is a prime example. When this was first made a property in the mid 1970s, this shed was constructed and it hasn't been really repaired or maintained since. There's holes in the walls and there's holes in the soffit. And so the neighbor's cat gets in, pees on our stuff, and then birds get in, they sit on the rafters and poop on everything. So I've got to get in there and fix it sometime in the next month before all the birds migrate. So I figured I'd just bring you guys in here and get a full representation of this. There's no wood left on these rafters. It is just bird dookies. This whole shed is just held up by bird crap. If you saw the last video, you might already know what building this is because I was standing in that part of this building for the main clip. That's the Automotive Shop. This side here, the middle, I mean, is the workshop that I have to fix. And then that's a lean-to just for outdoor equipment like ATVs and tractors and stuff that I don't own yet. So just like the shed I showed you guys over there, This barn is 55 years old with no repairs or maintenance done to it. My carpenter buddy took a look at it and he said, if you don't do some serious structural repairs to this thing, it's gonna fall over on its own in 5 years. And so I've got some plans for it. I'll be showing you that in later videos. But basically, we're doing a barn to workshop conversion, keeping the automotive shop, but doing a lot of work to this main workshop section, doing some interior structural OSB, just to make it as strong as possible so it can last at least another 20, maybe 25 years. Honestly, if this property didn't come with this building, I would have wanted to pay a lot less for it, or maybe not even get the property at all, because living this far from town, it's super important to have a place to work on things. We got to do stuff ourselves. To be able to do stuff ourselves, you need a place to do it. This is a building for that. Let's go inside. This used to be the wood shop when this was a working farm, and you may have seen that there was a power line coming over from the main house. That's kind of deceptive because it's not actually hooked up in the electrical panel in the house, is disconnected, and that's because the sub panel here is just really sketchy, and I don't think that even if it was put together, I don't think it would be approved. And so I'm just gonna rip out all the electrical in here. If I wanna go crazy, maybe I'll do a generator type thing, but for now, I bought some extension cords and I'll probably just run them over from a plug on the exterior of the house, because stuff I'll be doing here isn't super electricity intensive. Also, all these walls in here getting coated in OSB, just a type of plywood. And then the attic space is getting 5/8 plywood floors so we can store all our stuff in there. And all the stuff, if we store a bunch of stuff in the attic here, it'll have its own thermal mass. And if you get this building up to say 20 degrees, and then there's a bunch of stuff in the attic that's 20 degrees, it makes it harder for that cold to settle in overnight and make this building cold again. That's my theory anyway. Who doesn't love a sketchy ladder into an even sketchier attic? We're up here in the attic space. This is a 29-foot by 10-foot attic where you can store different seasonal things like summer and winter clothes and paddle boards and that kind of thing. It has no insulation. As you can see above me, it's just sheeted roof right on the trusses, and so there's no insulation value to that at all. That really has to be fixed for it to be usable. So I'm hoping all that insulation Chris gives me is going to be adequate to get this place insulated, because when that cold settles, obviously it settles on the roof overnight, and then everything in here gets cold and really hard to heat up. I also think this rope is supposed to take the stairs up. Oh, nice. There we go. There we go. I'm a pro. There's no one here to hold my glasses for this.
3 hours later.
Oh yeah. This is the automotive repair bay, where oil changes get changed. Sorry for the weird posture. I gotta get that low angle so you can see where I am. So this is obviously the lean-to side of the shop. Anything that can get cold but shouldn't get like rained or snowed on can go in here. So stuff like lumber or this old tractor can go in here, or bins or whatever. Not really overthinking it. It's funny because I really actually don't know what was going on before we got here. There's these cow skulls. Look at this. Look at this thing. There's a on this property. I have no idea why. Like, were they running cows this big here? This property's 10 acres. You need 10 acres for one cow, but there's all of these skulls here. Maybe that's why the skulls are here, because they died because they didn't have enough grass. I'm coming back in here so I can get the screen grab for the title art. All right, so that concludes the building section of the video. Now we got to talk about the land section of the video, but we got another half a foot of snow last night, and now I can't walk the property like I was planning to do for this video. So I'm gonna have to cut together a bunch of B-roll and a bunch of drone shots and just tell you what's going on. So basically what we've got going on here is, this is a 10-acre property, and it's long and skinny on the roadside. So like it goes a far ways back, but the fields start on the roadside. So you've got like 2.5 acre fields sort of stacked up into a row into 7.5 acres. And then off the side of them is all the buildings. I'll put an aerial up so you can visualize it. But then at the back of the property, there's 2.5 acres of forests with a bunch of trails. And you know, the road ends just after the shop. So once you get into the back forest, there's no car access. It's just walking and ATV access and maybe snowmobile access only. I'm super excited about the forest in the back because there's a lot of potential back there. The trails run all over the place. There's probably 10 different trails. And if you had a small cabin or a treehouse back there, no one driving past would ever know it's back there. But it's also just a dream of mine I've always had, is I want to build a little cabin by hand on my own land and have it be totally off the grid and disconnected from anything. No internet, no cell service, which you probably guessed by now we don't have cell service out here. Anyways, that basically concludes the tour. So now you have enough information to let me know if you think this was a good idea or not. Also coming up next, I'm going to try to do a cost breakdown type of video because there were so many comments on the first video asking about price. It seems like you guys actually want to consider doing something like Tiana and I have done. And I'll say, first of all, that it's actually way more attainable than you might expect. And the costs are way lower than you might expect, even though we've had a housing price crisis. In fact, the price of housing being astronomical is one of the big contributing factors of why we got out here in the first place. We wanted to escape having to pay 1.2 million for a 40-year-old house with mold issues. So yeah, definitely a contributor. Anyways, I'm rambling. See you guys on the next video. I hope you're doing well. See you in the comments. All right, have a good one. Bye.